Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we start things off with what could be maybe one of the biggest announcements we've ever had in our Career Mode series, and that is that Chase Elliott is leaving Hendrick Motorsports at the end of the season, and he is headed to McLaren next season. So he'll be driving the number 9 with Napa Auto Parts still on the car, but he'll be at McLaren, no longer at HMS. McLaren has also bought a charter to expand to a third team with a driver to be determined. Our time to take over is now, and we won't let anything get in our way, said Zach Brown. So there you have it. Chase Elliott leaving Hendrick Motorsports, probably the last thing you guys expected to see, and he will be leaving, going to the McLaren racing team. So a huge shakeup here to start today's episode, leading us into 3 races here with the Truck Series at Iowa, the Xfinity Series as Iowa, as well as the Cup Series at Pocono. So for today's race here at Iowa in the Truck Series, we had subscriber Patrick Chantilly in the truck. I hope I pronounced your last name right, Patrick. If I did not, make sure to let me know. But he would get underway here just outside of the top 10 for this race in Iowa, and immediately he actually jumps up to that top lane here, and he would be hauling the mail right here through turns 1 and 2. You're going to see how much ground he picks up right there on the exit of the corner. Now up inside the top 10 as he went down this back straightaway into turn 3, even up inside the top 5 here as he was going for these extra positions now. So a tremendous first lap right there. He actually nearly gets into the wall in the exit of turns 4. Fortunately, keeps it out of the wall, but after that, really, it kind of calmed down, and he kind of struggled after this point now, as he was still running about the top 5, now 3 wide in the middle right here between the 32 of Gus Dean. Now as he went down into turn 3, though, trying to hold him off. He ended up losing a spot, though, to that 32, who would get back past him, and we cut straight through now to the final lap of this race here, out of turns 2, down the back straightaway for the final time, side by side between Chantilly as well as Dean as they go down into 3 and 4 here on this final lap. He's going to get him there through the center of the corner and be defensive enough to actually come through to bring the truck home in P3 for us here in the M&M's 200. And at Iowa, I take that as a win, because we always struggle at Iowa in the Truck Series as well as the Xfinity Series. So I was very, very pleased with that. Of course, we come to this track here on the Cup Series later this season, so of course stay tuned to see how we do there. Hopefully we will be okay, but you never know now, as we're going to look at now the Xfinity Series here at Iowa Speedway as well. So we were coming into this one hoping that Paul Menard could deliver a similar run that Patrick Chantilly just gave us there on the Truck Series. Unfortunately, Paul did not have the greatest qualifying effort, so he started quite a ways down the field here and definitely had his work cut out for him coming into this race. But obviously, we've gotten multiple wins here in the Xfinity Series this season, so I wasn't very concerned with this race. I'm really not concerned with the rest of the regular season, but of course, it would be nice if we could pick up some more race wins and get ourselves some extra playoff points here before those playoffs do get underway here in the Xfinity Series. Of course, on the Cup Series side, we really need to get on with it and try to win some races, try to win some more stages to get any playoff points we can possibly get. We're still actually in the mix, surprisingly, for the regular season championship in Cup Series. So we aren't necessarily out of that picture yet either here, as we would go down into turns 1. Paul had a bit of a moment right there. It was honestly a pretty tame race after that, pretty boring race, so there really wasn't much to show from this point on. So we're actually going to jump straight to the final lap here in Iowa for the Xfinity Series out of turns 2. Now Paul Menard all over the back of that number 8 car of Landon Castle, down the back straightaway into turn 3 for the final time. Makes a move up the inside through 3 and 4, but likely won't have the momentum as they come through out of turns 4, and sure enough, they're going to be side by side, at least down the front straightaway, and Paul Menard unfortunately can't quite get Castle out the line and has to settle for the 16th finishing position instead. Ty Gibbs rounding out the top 10, and then at the very front we got Justin Allgaier and Rajat Karut there at 1, 2. Tommy Joe Martins in P3, Clemens David Starr as well in the top 5. So some big days for a couple of underdog drivers there. Now as you see the rest of that finishing order on your screen, Gutierrez all the way down in P28 now as we get ready to come through now into the Cup Series here at Pocono Raceway, the tricky triangle. My favorite thing about having a modded custom schedule in the career mode is simply that we don't have to do Pocono twice now. I cannot stand Pocono Raceway in any NASCAR game or in real life. I just do not enjoy this racetrack, so I'm very glad that this is the only time this season that we will have to come here in the Cup Series here. As we came through to turns 1, I didn't get the best qualifying lap. You can see the car kind of was unsettled right there in the first turn, and then we come through at a turn 3 down this front straightaway. We cross the line with a 54.042 and qualify P14 for the Pocono Organics 325, so actually it was a pretty decent qualifying effort. And if I could have got through turns 1 really well, we probably could have been up inside the top 10 even. So clearly we got some speed now. Texas last episode did not go the way we would have liked it to go whatsoever. We had a terrible luck in that race, and hopefully we can turn that around today with a good result now coming off of Bubba Wallace's first win of his Cup Series career. Zane Smith is on pole, joined by Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, William Byron, as well as Austin Cindric inside the top 5. Alright, boys, last week was terrible. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. It wasn't our own fault, but terrible luck there, so hopefully we can turn it around today. I know with the 23 getting the win and then these other guys winning as well recently, it's really put us in a rough spot in the point situation, so we got to be on our A game now for the rest of the season. Let's go have a good one. There you hear myself on the radio now. So last episode, Bubba Wallace picking up his win put us in a really awkward position in the playoff grid. So right now we are the first guy in on points, but we're only about 18 points to the good. So we are in rough shape definitely now, as we need some good finishes, and obviously we need to try and go win a race because there's still a lot of time left in the regular season. Now as the green flag is out, and right off the bat, the guy that we have on pole, Zane Smith, looking for his first career win. If he can somehow pull that off today for Richard Childress Racing in the 8 car, well, that's another car that gets into the playoffs and kicks out either myself or a Hendrick Motorsports teammate or something like that, maybe even Noah Gregson. So definitely got to be careful here and just be on our game. Make no mistakes now, as we're 3 wide between Denny Hamlin as well as Matt DiBenedetto there in that 10. We get clear of the 10 of DiBenedetto. Stage 1, by the way, only 5 laps, a very, very short stage. Stage 2, double the length. We actually have 10 laps in the second stage here, as we're just trying to make this outside work. We look to the outside of that 23 of Bubba Wallace there as we came through the tunnel turn. Couldn't quite get through there as good as I wanted to, as we're right on the back of that DoorDash Toyota Camry. So Bubba now with 1 win on the season, actually matching his team owner of Denny Hamlin here. As you guys know, Denny Hamlin in his final season as well of his Cup Series career, trying to get a championship in his final season, which he is yet to do in his career whatsoever here. As we're going to make it 3 wide actually with Hamlin and Bubba Wallace, myself and Denny, not wasting any time whatsoever. Now, as the most wins this season, by the way, as you guys have been paying attention, you know that we haven't really had many drivers win multiple races, and right now it's actually only 2 drivers. Brandon Jones has gotten 2 wins on the season, and Joey Logano's gotten 2 wins. Everybody else that's won, it's only been 1 race, like Denny Hamlin, Harrison Burton, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch. All of Joe Gibbs Racing right now has been able to go to victory lane this season. They've definitely been the force to be reckoned with pretty much the whole season long. But we come through now to just 3 laps to go on the stage, and I was starting to get aggressive, make a 3 wide right here, because up ahead there was an interesting scenario going on. The 8 of Zane Smith, he might have qualified on pole, but he was actually extremely slow. I believe Molasses could have actually gone quicker than Zane Smith in the 8 car at points in this race here now, as we come to 2 laps to go on the stage, and I was getting these really big runs because Smith was so slow, but in the corner I would just kind of lose the car and really struggle to keep it going with the momentum, and then we would end up losing the time that we had gained. But now it actually works in our favor here as we exit turns 1. Up ahead, Joey Logano leading the way. Gregson to my outside. Of course, we don't really want a guy like Noah Gregson winning. We don't want Zane Smith winning either, so Logano leading the way right now helps us as we come through this tunnel turn approaching the final lap. Unfortunately, right there, a rough tunnel turn, and now we'd have to wait till the final lap to really have a chance to do anything here. So as we went down into turn 3, we would remain alongside Hamlin, but he actually was able to get in front of me through the corner and get alongside Gregson. Then on the final lap here, I make it 3 wide with them as we go down towards turns 1. Zane Smith, by the way, still holding up everybody in front of him here as I'm trying to make a 3 wide with Chase Briscoe, another guy that's looking to get his first win on the season right now outside of the playoffs. Briscoe had a terrible first half of the regular season, and he's trying to turn it around here now as he had runner-up finish at Texas Motor Speedway to Bubba Wallace in the last episode. Now as we are able to get in front of him as we go down towards that tunnel turn. Elliott having a good run, fresh off the news that he is leaving Hendrick Motorsports at the end of the season to go to the McLaren Racing Team next season in that number 9 and Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro. I have already seen that paint scheme. I know exactly what it looks like. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Lation did a great job with it now as we come through out of turn 3. Joey Logano holds off his teammate of Austin Cindric for the stage win. Kyle Busch, unfortunately, he's able to get past me, and so is now the number 14 of Briscoe right at the line. So we end up actually having to settle for the 8th finishing position here in the first stage here from Pocono Raceway. Car isn't too bad. That 8 car is holding up everybody, though, and it's starting to get really frustrating. If I get to him, I'm probably just going to move him. And there you hear myself on the radio. I had full intentions if we can find a way to that 8 car to just punt him out of the way because he is holding up everybody, including myself here. As we come into the pit lane, you saw a few adjustments going into the car there, but a very calm first stage. Pocono usually is a pretty calm race now, as I felt like we're getting the two really kind of sucky tracks out of the way right off the bat here in the season, and that was Texas as well as Pocono here. So get ready to go green for the start of the second stage here at the Tricky Triangle from Pocono, and now for the start of Stage 2, it is time to get amped from Pocono. There you have the amp segment from Pocono Raceway now as we're down into the 9th position. But once again, what you're seeing is Zane Smith actually leading the way. He took it 3 wide into turns 1 on the restart, moved himself to the lead, and he is so slow once again now that he is holding up every single car. So now I'm working my way through the traffic, passing the 4 of Hailie Deegan, as well as trying to pass our number 9 teammate of Chase Elliott here. And of course, the main goal at this point is to get to that 8 and just punch him out of the way now, as we came through making it 3 wide at the end of that second lap with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin for a brief moment, and now we're right in behind that 22 of Joey Logano. A bit of a close call with him, even though he is a rival. I don't want to waste any time with trying to get past him. We make contact with the 22. Of course, you guys think back to Darlington right off the bat. We had a very physical altercation multiple times with Joey Logano throughout that race, so that rivalry is still going strong, but we haven't been around Joey a whole lot this season, so there hasn't been a whole lot of opportunities for that rivalry to pick up, as Hamlin took it 3 wide with Zane Smith and Austin Cindric. They both move in front of the 8 car, so now Hamlin, Cindric P1, P2, Smith down to 3rd place, Logano 4th, myself and Elliott battling it out for that 5th and 6th position. 3 wide behind us between Briscoe, Kyle Busch, as well as the rookie of Hailie Deegan here as we come through out of turns 2. Elliott is actually able to get back clear of myself, sorry, turns 3 that is, here as we would just kind of settle in though behind Elliott for a moment, but then on lap 4 we make it 3 wide again with both Chase and that 22 of Joey Logano and that number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang here as we cut through down into that tunnel turn. We get right to the apron now as we're going to have a chance to get to the back of Zane Smith, who continues to hold up everybody behind him once again. So as we go down into turns 3, actually right here I get into the back of him. This one was unintentional and it messed me over there, and that allows the 22 to get into the back of me and move me up out of the groove, and now we lose the spot to the 9, we lose the spot to the 14 and the 29 of Cole Custer as well. So as you can imagine, now I'm frustrated and have full intentions to get back to the 8 car and just move him out of the way. So now we would get back on the move, looking to the inside of the number 29 of Cole Custer, and we're right back up into 6th place. And we have no problem running down Elliott and Briscoe because they just can't pass that 8 car. So I immediately take a 3 wide as we go down into turn 3, and we might have a chance to get to the back of the 8 right here. And I'm going to try, but it's not going to be enough. And Elliott's going to keep himself right on my door, so it makes it really hard to complete the pass right there. So now down the front straightaway, I would continue to get that draft out and get clear of the 9 of Elliott, and into turns 1 I said, you got to get out of the way, dude. I give a huge push to the back of Zane Smith, but he actually saves it, and we gave him more help than anything. So now Briscoe's actually able to get back past me because I went way out of the groove because I full sent it into the corner, and now Elliott's attacking up my inside. We're racing a guy now like Chase Elliott for that final few playoff positions, so we got to be very careful around our teammate of Elliott here for the rest of this regular season. Deegan actually looks up the inside side of the 9 there as we came through out of that tunnel turn. So now on that left-hand side of Chase Briscoe as we sail it off into turn 3, trying to once again get up into P4 now, as actually the 14 is going to go around as we come through turns 3, and the caution comes out. And the reason that happened was because out of the tunnel turn, the 14 got checked up by the 8, and I was right behind him, and then I drove into the back of the 14 when he got checked up, and unfortunately that sent him around in the next corner here a whole straightaway later. So once again, the 8 car causing even more issues as both Zane Smith and Denny Hamlin actually are going to come into the pit lane here. Of course, we're in a position now where we need every single point that we can get, so I felt like we were kind of forced into a position where we had to stay out here to get any stage points we could, and then we had a couple other guys coming into the pit lane as well. So I decided here to stay out on the track and get ready to go back green from now. P2 on the front row, and it's actually only going to be a 1-lap dash with myself and Austin Cindric here on row number 1 for the start of the 10th and final lap of the 2nd stage. Right behind us on row number 2, we got Haley Deegan in the number 4 car, Chase Elliott, our teammates, in that Napa Auto Parts number 9 Chevrolet Camaro. So as we go side by side down towards turns 1 with Cindric, we actually got quite a good launch compared to Cindric in that Money Lion Ford, but unfortunately I couldn't quite clear him into the corner, so we have to just stay put here on the outside, and unfortunately I really don't have any speed here on the top, and that allows the 33 of Cindric to get back past and clear. Now Deegan as well, she is going to get clear of us as we go down the straightaway, and Kyle Busch even is going to look up my inside as we go down towards this tunnel turn, so clearly not the restart we were looking for here, and hoping that we could have maybe stolen a stage victory, but now we slide in behind Kyle Busch, and out of the tunnel turn we have a pretty good run, not quite good enough, and that means we're going to have to really send it here into turn 3, and I'm not trying to waste any time. We send it up the inside of Kyle Busch. Deegan looks up the inside of the 33 as we come through. I get signed by someone overcorrect, and up the track we go. Deegan to the lead as I lose a spot to the 9 as well as the 6, so we give up 2 spots as Haley Deegan wins stage 2, and we come through to cross the line and have to settle for 6th place in this 2nd stage here in the Pocono Organics 325. So we were looking at P4, and then I just had one little hiccup right there in turn 3, and I almost put it right into the wall, but fortunately we kept it off the wall. But now we got to come into the pit lane to take 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. Everybody that just pitted out of that last caution can stay out here as we get ready to go green for this 3rd and final stage here from Pocono Raceway. So this up and down season continues here at Pocono Raceway, where we've had races where we've run horrendously. Then we have a race like this where we run pretty well. And I can tell you guys right now, I was driving this car so hard just to try and be in the mix. And I mean, we were doing a good job of that so far here today. We've been running in the top 10 the whole race ever since we got up there. Now, as the green flag, though, was back out, and the 3rd and final stage is underway. But you see, we only have 11 laps, so we only have 1 extra lap compared to stage 2. So not much time extra at all to make something happen here, and unfortunately we're down in P15 because of all those guys in front of us that stayed out, like Denny Hamlin specifically. Now, as we know, he's got a very fast car. Kyle Larson's actually though leading the way, and you can see the checkup we had right there. Definitely some guys off the pace in front of us. I'm sure Zane Smith was probably up there in the mix here as we make a 3 wide with the 9 and the 6 of Stenhouse and Elliott here down this first back straightaway, and I try to pinch the 9 through the middle right there to get him to pull out of that 3 wide, and sure enough, as we get clear into the tunnel turn, we go for a bit of a slide right there, but we continuously move forwards here and get close to being now inside the top 10. So a good call so far now, as it's really working out here as we go down into turn 3. Eric Jones in that McLaren 02 car. He will be returning, by the way, to McLaren next season, so he will be teammates with Chase Elliott, but there is going to be a 3rd car for McLaren as well. As guys know, Blaney drives that 7 car for McLaren. Well, he's going to be in Chase Elliott's car at Hendrick Motorsports next season with a new number, probably 25, and maybe with a body armor paint scheme. So who's going to be in that 3rd car, you wonder? Well, you're going to have to wait probably a few more episodes before you can find out about that. So it's definitely going to be interesting nonetheless, and I'm excited for you guys to see that. I know that the overall kind of reaction to Chase Elliott leaving HMS in the career mode is not going to be good whatsoever, and you're going to probably say, oh, it's not realistic, and we're now like 4 or 5 seasons into the Cup Series here in the career mode. The driver changes and stuff that I'm doing at this point are not meant to be realistic whatsoever. If I did it all realistically, it would just be boring, and there would really be no point of doing it at this point. So I like to keep it kind of spicy a little bit with Chase Elliott making a move like this, and hopefully you guys are okay with it now. As I mean, like I said, it's not meant to be realistic, so if you're not happy about it, there's nothing I can really do for you now. As we came through to 9 laps to go here in this third and final stage, making a pass on the inside of the 19 of Harrison Burton. So up inside the top 5 as we go down into turns 1. You can see though, Denny Hamlin is long gone now. As we get to the 8 of Zane Smith, I make a mistake and I said, you know what, I'm not wasting any time. I'm just going to drive through the 8 cars of Zane Smith, because he drove like an idiot earlier in the race, holding up everybody now. So I did not feel bad whatsoever about that. But then we come to just 6 laps to go on lap 27. Larson was so slow that Briscoe, Cindric, myself, we had all run him down now as we went down towards turns 1. Denny Hamlin is long gone, almost a full turn ahead of us. So without a caution, nobody is going to have any chance for Denny Hamlin. Now is actually getting into the back at the 14 there. That was a bit of an awkward moment that destroyed my momentum there on the exit of turns 1. So I had to wait now all the way to the front straightaway coming to lap 28 before I had an opportunity to make a move. 5 laps to go. Now we make a 3 wide with Chase Briscoe as well as the 33 of Austin Cindric. And as we go down towards turns 1, I'm going to sail it up the inside of the 5 of Kyle Larson, and we're going to be pretty even with him for a moment, but he has that momentum on the exit, and now Briscoe gets to the inside, and now I use up the teammate of Kyle Larson there as I get into the side of him. I've been quite a bit aggressive here over these last few episodes, as you might have noticed, because we're getting into a time where we're in jeopardy of missing the playoffs if we don't get our act together simply because we don't have a win. So we got to be aggressive and make those moves like Cindric does right there, 3 wide with our teammates of Elliott and Larson now as we're closing in once again on the back of that 14 of Briscoe as we go down towards turn 3, approaching the final 4 laps of this race. And then actually the caution comes out with 5 laps to go, and it looks like it might be for Kyle Busch, because it appears he will be the only one pitting here. Of course, we're going to stay out as it's only going to be a 2-lap dash, and NASCAR overtime is about to get underway, and all of a sudden we are running in P3, and this could be, if we finish 3rd, that would be the best finish we've had all season long. If I'm not fully mistaken, I don't even think we've actually finished in the top 5 yet. So I was also looking at stats recently. This is the 16th race, and we've only had 7 top 10s. So if we get a top 10 here, it'll be a 50% top 10 rate now as we get ready to go green for NASCAR overtime. How good of a restart did we get? All of a sudden, we have a chance to go win our first race on the season. We know our car isn't as fast, and it doesn't drive nearly as good as Denny Hamlin's, but if we can have a chance to maybe take a 3 wide here down towards turns 1, as you see, I'm going to take that opportunity. We have the momentum, and we look up the inside of that FedEx Toyota Camry as we go into the corner, but you can just see right here, I have absolutely nothing now, and that allows the 11 of Hamlin to get out in front and the 14 of Briscoe. I see Kyle Larson coming up behind us. I throw a block on him. I got to make sure that 9 car of Elliott doesn't get up our inside, and I use that draft from the 14 to make sure we stay ahead of Elliott now as we come up on a lap and a half to go. It's not over quite yet, but we got to get past that 14 as quick as possible if we want to have any chance at running down and passing Denny Hamlin for our first win on the season here. As we're going to look up that inside of the 14. We need to complete this pass on Briscoe right here if we want any chance at the 11. Briscoe, runner-up last episode to Bubba Wallace in Texas Motor Speedway now as he comes through out of turn 3, hanging on to P2 now as Elliott's trying to make a move on myself. I get defensive over him, saying there is no way you're going to try and pass me right here as we start the final lap here in the Pocono Organics 325 as Hamlin now driving away. Now at this point really accepting our fate that no one's going to run down the 11 of Denny Hamlin, but can we still at least get 2nd place? Now turns 1 was not a great turn whatsoever, but we're going to be able to use that draft hopefully here from Briscoe down this first back straightaway here, and then hopefully we get a really good tunnel turn and maybe get 2nd place now as we head down towards that tunnel turn. You can see that momentum building and building with that draft, and now we're going to cut down towards the grass here through the tunnel turn, and we get up a huge run here on the back of the 14 as I go a little bit sideways there. Now we make the move to the inside side draft there a little bit now as we leave a little bit of space between myself and Briscoe into turn 3 for the final time here from Pocono, nearly making contact, but we keep it clean with Briscoe, and that allows him to stay clear as we exit turn 3. Denny Hamlin is going to win here in Pocono Raceway in his final season as Elliott looks up my inside. I make some contact with him, and we barely hang on there to hold on to the 3rd position, which is our best finish of the season, our first top 5, I believe, of the season. So very, very happy with that. A step in the right direction for HMS as a whole. The worst finishing HMS driver was Alex Bowman down in P13. So clearly a step in the right direction this weekend at the Tricky Triangle for this Hendrick Motorsports team now. Couldn't have asked for a much better race there. Obviously, we could have had a winning car. That would have been nice. But I think we're getting closer and closer as a whole here for the team. Not just with us in the 24, but for Elliott in the 9, for Larson in the 5, and hopefully for Bowman as well in that 48 car. And we don't know if I'm going to be back at Hendrick Motorsports next season still, but I will have news on that soon. But here you see the standings in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series and whatnot after today's episode here in the career mode. So Bradinger and Allgaier have the most wins this season in Xfinity with 3 apiece. Then we have a handful of drivers there that are in on points here in the Xfinity Series. But now let's look at the Cup Series playoff grid. So that finish really helped us out, actually, now, as Hamlin is now the 3rd driver to pick up a multi-win season, with 2 wins now tying Logano and Brandon Jones. But we're going to look down the rest of that order and you just see how many different winners we have. Suarez in there in P13, but then you got us, 442 points. So we're only maybe about 35 or so points to the good, I think, or so over Alex Bowman, who's the first car out. So it's going to get interesting throughout the rest of the season. Very excited to see what happens here. As always, of course, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. And I would like to say a quick thank you to the Going Racing members here of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasseur, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, as well as Dana9302. As I always say, you guys help me out so much, and I really, truly do appreciate it. And once again, thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.